Welcome back, friends. It's good to have you here and learning and talking about some more words this week. We have this lesson and one more in this unit before we do a review of all the words we've learned so far together this school year. Let's take a look first at the prefixes that we're going to be using this week. First, we have the prefix a, which means not or without. One word I was thinking of that uses this prefix a is the word asymmetrical. In math, you've probably learned about the word asymmetrical. It's a shape that is not the same on both sides. A shape that has symmetry is the same on both sides, like a heart that you might draw for Valentine's Day, but a shape that is asymmetrical has two sides that are different. So A is without symmetry. Let's take a look at the next prefix, n. It means in or into. I'd like for you to think about a word that you know, a word that has the prefix a, meaning not or without. Now, this can be kind of tricky because we might be able to think of a lot of words that start with the letter a, like the word ant, but that a in the word is not a prefix. It doesn't have its own meaning. It's just a letter that goes with the other words to create the word ant. We can see that the word asymmetrical has the a added that changes the meaning of the word to mean not symmetrical. The word symmetrical has a meaning, and the word asymmetrical has a meaning. So this might be tricky, but if you think you know of any words that start with a that is used as a prefix, you can share them with me now. Looking at the prefix n, that means in or into, here's a word that I was thinking of. To enrobe means to put into a robe. If I want to get ready for bed and I put on my pajamas and my robe, you might say that I enrobe. Finally, the prefix pro, meaning for, before, or forward. Here's a word I was thinking of. The word proceed means to walk forward, to continue walking. So proceed has the prefix pro that uses that meaning of the prefix. Make sure that you record these words on your paper. They're here to help you remember the meaning of those prefixes and how they are used in words that we are a little bit familiar with. We have two roots this week, crypt and gnome. That G is silent, so we say gnome or nos. And this is helpful when we're identifying the definitions to go with our words because they're all very different. Crypt and gnome words. One means to conceal, one means to know. Now let's look at our suffixes. Two of these suffixes we've already had already, so I'm going to go ahead and add that information now. We've talked about the words create and heroism before. They have the prefixes ate and ism. These are suffixes that we've seen before. Our new suffix for this week is the suffix ic, that means like or related to. And here's the word I'm thinking of for this week. That word is heroic. If someone is behaving in a heroic way, they are behaving like a hero, and that is a describing word, that is an adjective. I'm looking forward to seeing the words that you came up with that have the prefixes and the suffixes that we're looking at for this week. But next, let's turn our attention to the words that we'll be studying more. Some of you may have mentioned these as you were answering the Edpuzzle questions. Remember, one of the first things we'll do is circle the roots and underline the prefixes and the suffixes. Once you finish with the circling and underlining, your paper should look like this. And next, we'll turn our attention to deciding which part of speech each word is using these words as a clue. Now, there are a couple of words that you can see that don't have any suffix this week, so I'm going to help you with those because those can be tricky. To encrypt is something that you do. And the word crypt is a noun. A crypt is a thing, encrypt is a verb. So words that don't have a suffix, we don't really have that information to provide any clues, but having that root doesn't indicate that it's any particular part of speech. What I'd like you to do now is to decide what part of speech each one of these words is. Remember to use what you've underlined to help you know, since you can look at these helping words here and let me know in the Edpuzzle what parts of speech you've chosen. You'll get to see the correct answer right away, so make sure you have that information on your paper. I look forward to seeing your answers, friends.